Hey, David with the Wholesaler's Toolbox. Today talking about wholesaling properties listed on the MLS or through a realtor and if you should wholesale them. And I get this question pretty frequently through email or people messaging me and saying, hey, I know somebody that listed their house for sale. Is this a good MLS deal? My neighbor or my relative, is listing with a realtor. And, should I wholesale it? And honestly, I don't believe, in my opinion, that's what wholesalers do. Okay. If it's a great deal, if the house is torn up and it's well below, market value, then go try and wholesale it. But if it's just a house that, your neighbor lives in and they're selling it, or, anybody that's listing through a realtor, it's probably not a good idea. And I'll explain why. Investors, cash buyers are investors. If they're actively buying, they're already working with a real estate agent, okay? And the real estate agent has a search set up for them already on the MLS probably. So any house that goes on the MLS that meets their criteria is already going to email them automatically, okay? So as a wholesaler, we don't provide a value in taking a MLS listed property to an investor. Okay, they already know about them. They're already working with a realtor. That's not what we do. What we do is find deals that aren't on the market or off market deals, from somebody that doesn't know what to do with their house. Maybe they're being foreclosed upon, or they're behind on taxes, or, whatever. They inherited the house, but it's trashed, or they had a renter there and it's torn up. They don't have the money to fix up the house. So they don't want to go to a real estate agent with it, because the real estate agent, they're going to want to do a city inspection, and, the city's going to come out and they're going to say, hey, you got to do all this work. They don't have money to do the work. So they get, some property owners get into the situation where they don't know what to do with the property. All right. They're like in this, limbo. So the wholesaler goes out and they learn how to market for those people, and they find those people holding properties that don't know what to do. They're stuck, and we negotiate a good price on those houses, and then we take that house to the investors and assign our deal. That's what a wholesaler does. All right. So we don't typically find deals on the MLS. Now, does that mean that no wholesaler ever finds deals on the MLS? No, some do. Some will, or maybe working with investors that only buy, a house or two a year, and they're not tapped in with a full-time real estate agent or something. And so it can happen. But if you're building your cash buyers list and you're working with active buyers, my suggestion would be to stay away from MLS listed properties or properties listed with a realtor. All right. So that's, this is my response to an email that I got, a day ago. Should you deal with that? My professional opinion is no. Don't, if you're out marketing for houses, just look for off-market houses and don't, get on the MLS. Now, there are other ways you can find properties if you want to get online and do it. You can, you can get into Zillow or other websites like Zillow and just look for sale by owners, because if you're a for sale by owner, you can still list your property on Zillow. So just go in and, unmark the agent listed properties and just look for sale by owner, or put it in the, the search description and just put by owner in there, or for sale by owner, or FSBO, or things like that. You can also go on Craigslist and look for properties listed by owner. Now, is that a good way to do it? You're still going to run into properties that are retail ready. I wouldn't chase those. You're still looking for properties that need a lot of repairs, or the seller's very distressed, because again, they can't afford the property because, they inherited it, or it needs a lot of work or whatever. So there's other ways to do it. But back to my original point, find other ways to get properties other than the MLS, because, basically that's not what we do as wholesalers. Finally, I want to talk for a minute on bank-owned properties, and I'll do another video specifically on this, but there are a lot of bank-owned properties on the MLS because a bank will list it with a real estate agent or a broker in the area that they deal with. And, there was a time when bank-owned properties were great, great for investors, great for wholesaling, because when the market was flooded with them, banks were letting them go at a greatly reduced price because they had literally thousands or tens of thousands properties that they needed to unload. But in today's real estate market, when the market's good and there's not much inventory and there's a lot of buyers, that the banks aren't fools, and they're not going to let properties go for 50 cents on the dollar when they know they can get 95 cents on the dollar. So it's not, in my opinion, again, it's not a great time to go after bank-owned MLS properties. Okay, and even if you are in that market and you're going after bank-owned properties, as a new wholesaler, you've got to understand that banks aren't wholesaler friendly. Okay, most banks, if not all banks, won't let you assign a contract. So if you go put a contract under, put a bank-owned property under contract and plan on wholesaling that, it ain't going to happen because they won't let you assign that. So what you have to do is you either have to close on the property and then have a second closing and sell it to your seller, or you have to put, when you write the contract, you have to put the contract in the name of an LLC and then actually assign that LLC to your buyer, and then he buys under that name. You're selling the LLC. So it's more complicated, a little bit more complex than just assigning a contract. So if you're new in wholesaling, I wouldn't go after bank owns until you get some deals under your belt and maybe get to the point where you want to dip your toe in that water and try it out. So put that on the back burner if you're brand new. So if you're new to wholesaling, you're just watching this and you're trying to get a feel for where you're going to go with your wholesaling business, I would recommend staying away from properties on the MLS, staying away from bank-owned properties, and just going out and finding motivated sellers through your own marketing efforts, using bandit signs or driving for dollars or those kind of things. So that's my answer on that. Personally, I'd stay away from MLS properties and find another way to go on it. So I hope this helps, and do me a favor while you're watching this video, before it finishes up, subscribe to my channel, hit the little bell notification so when I post a new video, you'll get a notification of it, and help me grow this channel so I can reach other wholesalers. Okay, appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.